G'day viewers, welcome to another video. Before we get started, I'd like to ask, could you please hit the like button? It helps me with the YouTube algorithm and will help them decide who to share it to. It just progresses my channel, helps me out. And also, if you haven't subscribed, could you please do that, because 75% of my viewers aren't subscribed. It would mean a lot to me. It'd help me grow my channel. Thank you. Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to be processing my paper storage. Now I've got this tub here and this tub here, which are full, as you can see. There's filter papers, there's cotton wool, there's tissue paper from when I've had spills. I've mopped up the spills, anything like that. Paper from just wiping out beakers that have gold on it, because even though you tip it out and it looks clean, you'll find if you wipe the inside with paper towel, there's always some that comes out. So this all has to be incinerated. I've got the fire going to do some chips. So while it's going, we're also going to process this. Now my girlfriend has asked me to teach her, so she's going to be the one burning it. She's going to add a small handful like that at a time, make sure it's completely incinerated, then add some more, add some more, add some more until it's all burnt. So I'll go and take these over to the fire now and we'll start incinerating. So in here is all the paper filters and so on that were roasted. Now there are some bits of sediment in there from other chips that I've done. I've poured the sediment in. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Maybe I thought I'd do a second extraction or something, I can't remember. But there's not a lot of sediment, just the odd bit or two. Put these aside for now. So it's hard to know if it's all burnt enough. I don't know what that is, some sort of, oh, it's just got to be crushed up. So what I need to do now is put it in the sieve here. I'm going to mash it up first with a mallet. I'm going to try and crush it some more. Just work it, make sure that any big chunks are sort of broken up a bit. And then I'm going to put it through the sieve and try and work as much of it through the sieve as I can. And anything that won't go through the sieve obviously needs to be incinerated some more. But it will be able to, it will enable me to find anything that needs to be more roasted. And most of it will go through the sieve, so I'll have less material here to deal with and make life a lot easier. So continue giving this a good work. Anything that doesn't go through the sieve I'll just tip back into here. It's too powdery to put through my rock crusher, in case you're wondering why I don't use that. If I get left with any big chunks at the end, then I'll probably consider it, but right now it's just too much powder and ash and sand. And alright, so I can tip some of it into the sieve. I've got a scoop here, it's going to make life a lot easier. I'll just scoop some of it in. See if I can sieve some of it, might be quicker. So I'll just keep doing that. Looks like I'm going to get quite a bit of it through, and there's no point in showing you me sieving it. I'll be back when there's something to show you. I've crushed up as much as I can. A lot of this is just large bits of fiberglass like this. That would have been a ram stick or something, may have had gold on it. I don't know, I can't remember. It's all definitely burnt enough. It's just large pieces, and I can see some gold right on top there. Bits of board that have got gold on them. So I've see another piece right on top there. What I'm going to do is just treat the coarse material like that. It's definitely incinerated enough, and I've got too much fine sediment to put in the beaker at one time. It'll be too hard for the acid to get to all the powder, so I'm going to have to do this one in stages. So I'm going to tip in, or use the scoop, put some in, I don't know, a couple of inches. I wouldn't want to go any more than that. It just makes life too hard, makes it too hard for the acid to get to it all. I've got some more beakers. I'll go and get some more beakers and evenly just divide it up between them all. I've only got one more spare hot plate because the other two are being used. So what I'll probably do is start with the coarse material and get that out of the way, since there's only one of those. Now what I'm going to do is a nitric bath first, because there's possibly some silver in there. There could even be some palladium in there, and if I do a nitric bath, and if there's any of those metals in there, I'll be able to separate those from the mix. So I'll do nitric first, then I'll give it a filter and a good rinse, and then we'll go straight to Aquarigio. Okay, so I've put some nitric acid in there, and I put it on the heat. Now it's just a waiting game to see the reaction. When the reaction stops, I'll put more in and see if it reacts again. And that's when I'll know when it's finished or not, when there's no more reaction. So it's only been on the heat for 5 minutes, and as you can see, there's already some pretty good fumes in there. So there has to be something dissolving in nitric, and it can only be probably silver or palladium. So it's a good choice to do a nitric bath. I've evenly divided the fine powder into 4 beakers. I put nitric acid in first and then water. I know you're supposed to put water into acid, not acid into water, but I just wanted to see how it reacted with the fine powder. And each one of them just came bellowing out with yellow smoke, red smoke. So there's clearly something in there that the nitric likes. So it's a really good idea to do a nitric boil first. So I've got no room on the hot plate. They're just going to have to sit, and they'll slowly consume whatever it was that they were consuming. Won't be fast, but so you can see there's bubbles and reaction happening, and it's cold water, so it's reacting to something. So I'll just leave them to sit. I gave them a good stir, and when I've got room on the hot plates, I'll put these on. The coarse material's going gangbusters over there. Okay, so these solutions from the storage papers have had all night to settle, and as you can see, there's a clear solution, which was the nitrate all full of copper, and then all the powder at the bottom. I'm impressed with the way it's gone a browny colour, because it started out grey. So we've obviously removed something from the sediment. My guess is just copper. Well, it's got a green tinge to it, so it could be copper, could be brass, could be zinc, all kinds of things could be in there. If it was just copper, my guess is it would be blue. So now what I'm going to do is get a funnel, when I get a free one, because they're all being used, and try and filter this off without stirring up the powder. I could siphon it, but I'm not in any rush, so and doesn't really matter, because once I get rid of this solution, I've then got to put water in there, stir it all up, and make sure I get as much of the solution out from inside the powder as I can. I want the powder as clean as possible, away from all this solution, before I go into aqua regia. Otherwise I'm only going to transfer all these contaminants into the gold, if there's any gold in there, which there should be. So as soon as I can, I'll filter off these solutions and keep washing them to get rid of as much of this solution as I can. And then once I've got it all nice and clean, we can put aqua regia in there. So the only funnel which I had available was a small one, and that's okay because I can use my wide mouth flask. The funnel fits on there nicely, and that's been emptied out. That's what I normally put my gold wash into. And so what I've done is I put a cotton ball at the end to help try and catch any fine sediment that might get through, and then a filter paper, put that in there, and now I'll carefully pour this off, each one of these, and filter it. Okay, this first beaker has been cleaned, rinsed until there's no colour. So we'll start dissolving whatever's in here. Hydrochloric acid. And I'm guessing there's going to be quite a bit, so I'll put probably about 30 mils, I guess, or 20 mils to start with, of nitric. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 mils, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, this next one is cleaned, free of any colour. I think I'm going to need quite a bit of acid, that's why I put so much hydrochloric in. And we'll do 20 mils in this one as well of nitric. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and then I'll assess it and put more in later if need be. So that's 2 of them going now. This solution still doing pretty good. This one's got no reaction, so I'm going to put some more nitric in there. Two should be enough for now. There's some fumes in there now. I don't want to go putting too much in. Alright. This beaker's rinsed off and there's no more reaction. So I've cleaned off all the nitric solution, rinsed it all out. Do the same thing with this one, 20 mils. Now I've got no spare hot plates for it, so it's just going to have to sit like that. It'll probably still start dissolving something. Okay, just got this last one here to drain off. Okay, so many beakers on the go. It's getting confusing which one's done what. This one here, the reaction has stopped. I've got a nice clean flask I just washed, and a funnel with 2 cotton balls inside it. So what I'm going to do is try and drain off as much of this gold solution as I can, and it won't matter when there's when I get to the sediment if there's still some in there, because I'm going to put fresh aqua regia in there and try for a second extraction. But for now I just want to try and get some of the solution off. It's going to take quite a while to filter because there's so much sediment in the solution, it's not settled at the bottom. I better not go anymore because there I can see that spilling. It's coming out a nice yellow colour, which is good. I'm running out of beakers. Take 2. Take 3. So I'm running out of beakers, and that's why I want to try and get some gold sorted, get some of the gold that's come out and drop it, put it in a melt dish and just wait for some more to come, and eventually try and minimize all the beakers so I can get some of the tall ones back, because there's 2 on the hot plate and 2 here, the long one, tall ones. And so it'd be good to finally get rid of the sediment out of this. I'll just do one more extraction, see if I can get any more gold out of it, or whatever it is that dissolved. Something dissolved in the solution. There was a good reaction. In my figuring, it can only be platinum or gold, because anything else would have been taken out with the nitric bath. So I'll wait for this to filter. So with so many beakers that need to be sorted, processed, I'm thinking this is going to take forever if I show you each individual beaker being done. And my girlfriend's just informed me she's only burnt half the paper. So I've got double this amount to do. So I think you know what I'm doing, you know the procedure. They're going onto the hot plate with nitric acid, and they've had the nitric acid, now they're having aqua regia. So what I'll do is I'll just come back when I get some gold to show you. Okay, so I've narrowed it down. Out of all of those beakers, this is the pulp, all the filters that went through, all the pulp that went through filters. The majority of the pulp was thrown away after being rinsed thoroughly, but all the filters are in here just to see if I can get one last bit of gold out of it. And this here is all the filters that have caught gold from all the beakers that had iron sulfate in, and anything that dropped went through a filter. They're all in there. So that's where I'm hoping the gold's going to be, most of it. It looked like there was a lot of gold in the filters, and there was about 6 filters. So I've just put some hydrochloric acid in yesterday and boiled it for a while. I was hoping that it would settle overnight and I could pour off the clean hydrochloric acid and then put fresh stuff in, but it's all gone dark. So I've just put nitric acid in, and hopefully it will dissolve all the gold powder, assuming it's only gold powder, and that's what the iron sulfate's supposed to do, drop gold and only the gold. So we'll soon find out. Once that all dissolves, I'll filter it and then drop whatever's in there, and we should both hopefully see what gold I've got from that. Then hopefully by then I'll be able to see if there's anything in there. And then there's all this powder here, the second batch. I have to start all over again. All of my beakers, about 8 or 9 beakers, are totally filthy, so they have to be all washed so I can start again. It's a big job. Alright, so this is the solution from all the filters, and there is still some dark stuff in the bottom. I kept adding nitric acid and it kept reacting, but it just never seemed to end. So what I'm going to do is filter this solution, drop whatever gold is dissolved, and then I'll try hitting the sediment again with some more nitric and HCl to see if I can dissolve anything else. So I need some gold straight away, so I'll get what I can out of this solution. I have a nice clean beaker ready to go, which is important when you're refining gold. So I'm going to pour this in here. We've let it sit overnight so that it's nice and settled, if I don't stir it up too much, and otherwise it's just going to block the filter. So I'll try and get what I can through before it all stirs up. So the gold from the filters has been dropped with iron sulfate, and then it's just been through the whole wash process. This is the nitric bath now, so I'm going to take the gold off now and give it a final rinse and then melt it up. I'll pour this dilute nitric into an empty beaker and reuse this. Keep that aside. You see it's a nice colour now. Nowhere near as much as I'd hoped for though. But I've got some more dropping in this. This is from the pulp, the last of the sludge that I was trying to milk it for its last bit of gold and filtering it here. So wait for that to drop and see what I can get out of that as well. Alright, I'll go and get the milk dish. See if I can get it to pile up in the middle. There we go. Alright, we'll go and melt it. So low flame first so I don't blow it out. Draws a nice crust on the top. Working from the sides in. I'll put a bit more heat. Looks like it's been lucky to be 2 grams in there, I think. Don't think it'll even be that much. Right, we're going to weigh it up. I've got the aircon on, so it's probably going to play havoc with the scales. We'll see. This is only half of it. Remember, I've still got the other half of the powder to process yet, and I've still got some pulp, which I'm trying to drain the last bit of gold solution out of. So there's just an idea of what we're going to get. 1.5 grams, 1.5. So we'll see what we get from the other half. So this is the last of the gold powder that I trapped in filters. So I got most of the solution yesterday, dropped the gold, melted it, and then the sediment, which was still reacting, I then treated again, and I heavily diluted it to cool it down at the time so I could start filtering it. And it's going to be really diluted, but it should still work. So that's where we're up to with that. So if you remember, I was trying to get the last of the gold out of the dregs, and I filtered it and I highly diluted it to cool it down. I put some iron sulfate in there, and there's a light dusting of gold on the bottom. There's not a lot on there. So I'm going to pour that solution off, and I've got a little beaker here with tiny bits of gold in there and some in a filter. So I'll pour that gold into that beaker. There's not enough there to refine. There's all the powder from the crushed filter papers, the second half. Now I've got a whole pile of beakers lined up here. They are clean. As I keep saying, my beakers are stained. A lot of them are old and stained. You see there's not even any writing left on them. So what I'm going to do is put small amounts, or equal amounts in each one, divided up between them. And the reason I'm not just putting it all in the one beaker is it would be too hard for the acid to get to it all. The easier it is to get to the acid, the quicker it's all going to get done. See which ones need a bit more. And before, when I did the first half, I did a nitric bath first. There was no silver, there was no platinum, no palladium I mean. No silver, no platinum, no palladium. So I'm just going to go aqua right from the start and go for the gold. There's no reason why this half should be any different to the other half. So looks like I need to fill my bottle up. It's a bit empty. I've only got a couple of hot plates handy, so I'll be doing it in stages. I need to go and get some more. I'll fill this up and come back. Okay, so I've put equal amounts of hydrochloric acid in them all. And I'm just going to squirt some nitric in there. I'm not going to put too much because I know there's a lot of nitric will get used up. So it's only going to be about 10 or 20 mils. Going by the last batch, I know I put how much I put in there. This may look like a lot, but it's only a squirt, so it wouldn't be any more than 20 mils. And next time I need more, I'll add it in pipettefuls. So there's just the initial batch to get started. So I've got 2 free hot plates. I'll put 2 on for now. Get 2 biggest ones out of my way. I'll put lids on them and get it started. This one is a different video altogether, so we're just looking at these 2 here. Okay, just going to find some lids. Okay, so I've been dropping the gold from each of the beakers, and this is the last one to go. I've got some gold in there, some filters, I've got another filter here. So what I'll do is I'll combine that, put that gold with these, and then I can refine it and see how much we got from all those filters. So this is the last one to pour off. I do it with the sunlight going through like that so I can see if any of the gold's trying to escape or not. Oop, that bottle's full. I'll have to pour it into here. A little bit of gold down there, there's not much, but a little bit from each one is all going to add up. So I'll put that into here, and I've got to rinse that out now, so I have to use both hands. Alright, so that's filtering away. Once that's finished filtering, I'll put it in here and refine it all. All the filters with gold powder have gone into aqua regia. I've dissolved all the gold. Now it's time to filter the solution and drop the gold. So I've got a beaker here, stained. I wanted to find a better one, but that's all I got. So I'll put this in here, filter paper, and we'll start filtering. It already looks nice and clear, but we'll filter it nonetheless. Give it a chance to settle. There is some debris in the bottom. That would be paper pulp from the filters, and there's some rubbish in there. I did try putting more nitric acid because I do incremental additions, small amounts at a time, thinking that might be gold powder, but it didn't dissolve, so that's just trash. I'll wait until that solution's gone through before I put all this in, because it'll block the filter up and it'll take forever. Okay, so I'm going to use a new beaker, brand new, never been used, because this is all stained, and it's very important when you're dropping gold to use a clean beaker. You're trying to get rid of contaminants, you don't want to introduce them. So I'm going to switch this over. I'll rinse this out, put this through the filter again. And you can see how nice and clear this is coming through. That's perfect. That's what we want. Tip the rest of this in. And the filter will go in my filter storage, just in case there was a little bit of gold. You always just do that anyway. I've got a bucket down here. I keep all my filters and paper if I make a mess, all sorts of things like that, just for this purpose. This is being refined from all my old paper storage. So now I've just got to wait until all that finishes draining through, and then I'll rinse the paper, try and get as much gold solution out of the paper as I can, and once there's nothing more coming through but clear liquid coming through, then I know I've got all the gold solution, and I'll drop the gold. So I wasn't happy with the outcome. Look how cloudy that is. As soon as I started adding water, it came through really cloudy, so I've put this into a smaller beaker to continue just dripping out what it can. And in the meantime, I've run the solution back through a different funnel. This time I've got cotton balls stuffed into the filter, and look how nice it's coming through. There's no point in dropping gold if it looks like that, because you're only going to, whatever is contaminating it to make it that cloudy is only going to stay in the gold. You want to remove it. Remove as many contaminants as you can to get pure gold. That's the difference between a good refiner and someone who thinks they're a refiner. I know someone who just after a matter of months is calling himself a refiner, and I guarantee you he wouldn't get 9999 pure gold. I do, so this is why. So all the solution has run through. I've poured water in there and let it run until it was coming out clear. As you can see, there's no yellow in the cotton bud, so that will go in my paper storage just in case there is anything in this solution here in the sediment. Now when I add the iron sulfate to this gold solution, it should change colour and it'll make the gold fall out. So it's going dark, it'll get darker and darker, and the gold will fall to the bottom. Oop, I'm dropping things everywhere here. Okay, here we go. Time to see how much gold we've got. Well, time to wash it anyway, get a fair idea. We'll pour off the iron sulfate. I'm not expecting a lot of gold because I'm pretty thorough when it comes to rinsing out my filters to get all the gold solution out of the filters. So it's only the possibility that there could be dregs plus any spills I have. And no matter how good you are, you always get spills, overflows. Happens to everybody. So whenever there's an overflow and I clean it up with tissue paper, I'll put that in storage. So there will be some gold, but I'm really not expecting a whole lot. Let's see how fast this settles out. Looks like it's not settling very fast, which means it's going to be filthy. It'll need to be refined. I don't know if you can see that down there, there's a little pile, not much. It's very colloidal, very, very colloidal. So I'm gonna have to let that sit for a while. I'll come back. Now that I've given it a few good rinses, you can see that there's barely any gold in there, because I'm pretty thorough when I'm rinsing out my filter papers and so on. So I'm not really surprised there's not a lot there. Whenever I do a STANNOUS test, I always put the filter paper in, because that's gold that's dropped out, that gives you that black sign to say that there's gold. So I don't throw them away, I put them in my paper storage, and that's probably where this gold's come from. So not even worth keeping. I mean, I'm going to keep it, of course. I mean, it's not worth trying to recover and melt. So what I'm going to do is just catch it in a lab filter. It's bound to catch more smaller particles than a coffee filter would, and just keep it aside and add it to the next lot of gold I get. So I hope you found this video interesting, and I'd be really appreciative if you could just subscribe and like. It's free, costs you nothing to do it, and it would help me immensely. So if you could please share, like and subscribe, that'd be great. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.